World record at the moment by Alcon, driven a few minutes ago. We'll throw in Pack and Rotaker in the comparison. They do a bug slide in this uphill. And then they get the reactor. They go into the water. You have wet tires now and you have 5th gear. If you drive a precise line, you can preserve it. And then get a lot of speed down the loop. Water bounce across. And then here, exactly as they enter that checkpoint, there's a slowdown which can happen. I think it will happen to some players, where you just randomly lose 1 second. They try to no slide over the sand. Here, sharp, close line around the water. And then a lot of speed through this drift, where you can also pre-drift as you go into the plastic here to get a smooth wall ride line. Then they stay on the inside, all the way on the dirt, no slide down, get a good line onto the beach. Very important detail is to not touch the water before you get the reactor. If you end up with wet tires as you're flying with the reactor over the water, it's actually a disaster because you lose almost all your steering. So that is one thing to look out for. I hope the quality and everything is fine. I mean, it's what I could do right now on a portable setup. Hope it's not too bad to watch. Welcome everybody to the 4th Elite Cup of Trackmania. Qualifiers are done, tech setup is done. We've already had about 8 players eliminated in some unfortunate rounds I wasn't able to broadcast to my best ability, but now we are in the battle on Brazil over the beaches. Perhaps this is the Amazon. They're drifting down. Leicester was in last, but Offie I think has gotten the wet tire issues. He's still in the fight, but a little too far, and Leicester holds on. Offie also really good. Overall in the standings doing quite well for not having had a big points harvest yet, but won't find it here. But guys, it's not funny if we do the same joke every week. We need some new material. The next, you know, like, if you say the same one every time, it's not as funny. Sorry, bro. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just I think we can get better material. Alcon did really well in the qualifier. Was also at a low 0.8. The world record also by him, I believe. Low 0.7, 103.7. And so far his best is a 104.05. So not at all bad. Very fast indeed, but question is how much you really need to push here when there are mistakes happening. No big ones this round though. 0.7 the gap. Leicester versus Feed at the back of the field. Leicester with a much better wall ride. Passing Feed now into the downhill. Chemko has touched it and is in 51st in the red as they go into the flying. First turn good. Second turn, Golden Nugget very close to the wall. Chemko still in the red. Golden Nugget going wide there though. Does not get overtaken. Chemko tried, but Golden Nugget holds on. 600ths apart there. Very good round by all the players. Like, just look how close it is on the splits. You're not feeling too comfortable here, because you know, man, if I touched one wall, I would be out, like Chemko was. So it's, yeah, this is gonna be an intense one. It's always hard to tell what kind of race you can expect, but with this map, it's quite clear. A lot of it is such wide roads that they're not gonna crash in this portion, like, ever. They could get a slow water bounce, and the one unlucky thing that could happen is this uphill. You could get a random crash into that one, which costs you a second. And 1 second on this map is quite a lot. Look at Stifts. On other maps, this would hardly be a mistake, but here, everyone else is within 0.5, and a 1 second mistake feels like an eternity to try to catch up. Golden Nugget, though, crashed somewhere in the middle there. We missed it. And Tamar crashed at the start. So this should be the knockouts we're expecting to see. It would be so sad if you're... Oh no, bestie! Does he recover? He kind of does, but he has wet tires. He has wet tires. It's very hard to control. I'm trying, guys, to make you understand the danger of wet tire reactor flight. Unfortunate for the Czech player there. He tried his bestie, but wasn't enough to stay in. Link and Charles making mistakes on the last rock there. Quite hard to spectate and follow. We can see Link's respawn. Look at that. That's not easy to deal with. Link going back to Hyrule. Yeah. I thought of a terrible one myself. Link should stop driving cars and focus on an ocarina. And next round, it didn't work, and I didn't find a way to make it eloquent. It was just a very terrible attempt. Something though, something for next week. Something for next week. You guys work on it. Wosal plus 1 second, the winner of last week's Elite Cup. Coco also consistently in Division 1. Struggling here though. It just looked like there's so few ways to gain time here. If you're first a second behind, you really have to squeeze out all the hundreds you can find and just hope. Just hope someone misses the jump into the water. Hope someone misses the reactor flight or has wet tires. Here, Wosal doing a great job weaving between the rocks. A little bit faster that way, and barely remains in. Tween and Coco out. Ta transi la merde. I think that means the transition was garbage. And he's talking about the one that's like down behind the camera here. The one I've been saying things can happen on. This is the map with the shortcut. It is, but the shortcut is disallowed. Players are not allowed to use it, so they've built a version of the map with it patched so that it cannot happen. It's a little sad. I would have loved to see it. It would be cinema. But yeah, patched out. That is not fun, no, but it is like the best for the competition. You're measuring the same thing if everyone drives the same route.
Yo, Beta in first place! What is happening? Beta versus Carl Jr. Yo, let's go, Beta! Let's go, Beta! What the f***? Look at him go! He's on a crazy time! He's on a 103.9! Holy Beta! No! Oh, no! Oh! No way! That's crazy.
Sinks, sunks. Yep, he sinks. Terrible, terrible. Terrible, terrible. Mudda with red split there, but always faster afterwards, so he drives a different line. I'm trying to pay attention to pace as well. We don't really see anyone go into the 103s. Most people on 104. Pack now in the red. Early on. Opa! My missed the checkpoint. That's instant out. The respawn is so far away. Likely just instantly out. Legu as well, 1.5 seconds behind. That's gonna be trouble. I don't think he can make the comeback happen in his own driving. It has to be someone else failing. Doing good lines though, just waiting. Will someone crash the rock perhaps? No, they are flawless. Up. They are not flawless. Otak out. Man, Team Liquid had such a good weekend last week. Otak got 3rd and Epos 6th, I believe. And now they're both out. Both Team Liquid players out. Cholich with an almost failure. Disaster avoids it, but now in a lot of trouble still. Last turn around, Cholich looking to be going out with Heave. Yup. Yeah, Cholich got a no drift. So on the water, right? If you brake and steer, sometimes the car will have full grip and it'll do a sharp turn. if you initiate a drift, it will like slide while turning sideways. If you get a no drift when you're expecting a drift, that is really hard to come back from. Happened earlier as well. Pressure was too heavy. The heavy ones we've heard. The heavy... Too heavy, yeah, we know that one. It's a classic. Top 32, by the way. Halfway in the cup. Scrappy. Loosen further time, a little worried. I did point him out as having good chances today. He's been working a lot towards this one, so we'll see if he can do something to reclaim his spot in safety. Side by side with Arel, down the dirt and onto the beach. Does he do his wide line here? He does perhaps go a little wide to avoid the rocks. More speed than Arel, who's flipping. Arel fully out. One more spot up for grabs. Gluss, the closest opponent for Scrappy to catch. Is he going to be out here? Looks actually like he doesn't make the comeback happen. Scrappy out in 31st. A very close fight there, though. Very, very close fight. But yeah, just one slow round. And there's a little bit of variance to this, right? Like, you can have a slow round, the exact one where others are driving clean, or you can have a slow round where there's like plus 6 seconds behind you. That's just something you don't know. But in order to always be safe, no matter what happens, you have to drive a 104.5 without failure 39 times in a row. That is the only way to be safe from trouble. Mudda got the bug. Mudda got the thing where when you climb that transition, you get a slowdown which costs 1 second. So now we gotta see if he's prepared to handle the situation. He knows it happened. He knows it's not really his fault, but he still has to try to climb back. Tough spot for him. Of course, regardless what happens, still gonna be good in the overall standings, but I think he's looking to prove himself after last week going out early in 40th or so. Other than him, Tona also in a bit of trouble. It's Golden Nugget right now in the red with Mudda. Can he pass one? He only gets tied with Golden Nugget and goes out in 30th. The slowdown cost him 1 second. He finished 0.7 behind. He drove a really good race, but yeah, that is the transition bug that people have been talking about. And whoever wrote it in French, Coco, t'as transi la merde. That is the one in question. So basically what it is that those beach polygons, when you go onto road, there are some areas of that where you can crash into the transition itself and get a slowdown. But you cannot really see it yourself. Everyone knows it's there, and it's just unfortunate that it's a part of the map. Looks like Ender had it. He has so low speed compared to the field, and plus 1 second. Legu had a different mistake, catching up to Ender, but they're both an eternity behind. We'll look at the field now and see how they play out the rest. Cackney and Alcon on the tail of the field. Into the dirt. No clips there on the downhill. One guy was very close to getting wet tires, I thought. But it seems like they've all made it. And then last turn around, we don't want to see any mistakes. Looks like they have made it successfully. And Ender Legu out. They fixed the cut, but the bug was not fixable. The thing is, that collision is part of the default beach block. It's like the terrain that you place, that's just the block itself has that property. But typically, like, you want to know exactly where obstacles are. Like, if there's a rock on the track, okay, you can see it, you can dodge it. But this is like an invisible point you can crash into. There are surely lines that get it less frequently. Oh, I think Bren had a slow transition. Didn't look like the full crash. But yeah, so there's lines that can avoid it more frequently. Charge off. Oh, there's Glust. Glust missing the checkpoint. Same name tag. And that is a very big mistake to try to come back from. Bren on the tail of the field with Melio. Nighttech clipping on that wall ride is going to have very low speed into the dirt. The gap will extend further. It's 0.6 for him to gain. Oh, but no slide from Hill. And here comes Nighttech. This is the battle. Hill 0.2 behind. Another no slide. Disaster. Nighttech survives. Top 24. The people want an Alcon win. Yeah, if we look at winning pace, 104.1 and 0.2 has consistently been the winning pace so far. But of course, it's not necessary to drive that fast all the time. They could go faster if it was necessary to. So we'll see. Massa has a 103.98. That might be the only 103 in round so far. I'm also looking at Gwen. Someone failed the first turnaround. That was Azion. Gwen is also due for a really good Elite Cup, I think. No big slowdowns, but Massa had one. Lost 0.2. Into the water. Good drift, good exit speed as well. He got a bit closer throughout that. Azion missing his drift setup, that's one overtaken. And Melio with a mistake as well, that's two. Massa back in the clear. He did win previous round. And is almost having the classic first place to out situation. But that was a very good no slide. He gets closer to the people in front and perhaps further away from those chasing him down. Azion. Can he make something happen here? Everyone makes the turnaround and Azion and Melio out. I think we should spectate Carl Jr. for a round. We haven't really seen how he handles this track. Like I said, like Carl Jr. is just... It's hard to notice him in these early rounds. He never pushes past a certain comfort level. That just makes him survive every round. He just doesn't do anything special. He doesn't drive a 103.8 because he doesn't need to. He plays the format really well. Grenadi now in the red after winning previous round. Must have maybe lost the gear in the plastic in the start. And Mola is the closest opponent, 0.4 ahead. But Grenadi is gaining. That's a great line. Good speed here too. Still gaining. But it's just tiny margins. It was 0.3 of a gap. Now it's 0.2 into the last couple of turns. Maybe gains a bit towards Nighttech there. Needs a very good ending now to claw his way back in. Pack pushing ahead. Mola gets overtaken by Grenadi there, but there's just not enough time left for Grenadi to pass Nighttech. And Nighttech's been surviving in the orange a lot of rounds now.
Ach, man. Ach, this is so dumb, man. I hate knockout. This format is so bullshit. I got top 10 like almost every single round. First mistake, zack out. Ach, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
You do still have Wizzy left though, of the steering wheel players. We'll see if he can make my prediction true. Other than that, really excited to see Gwen, as I said, still fighting. Pack as well. Pack really needs a banger of a match. Has had some unfortunate ones. Now it's Massa in the red. Both big players struggling for survival the last couple of rounds. And Nighttech is the keeper. Like, what do you call it? The person who... The gatekeeper of each round here. If you're not faster than Nighttech, then you're not in. He's been holding exactly the orange position. Look at this, 0.3 between everyone. Last turn, Soldier in red there. Letster made a mistake, and here you needed a 0.5. You needed a 0.5 to be in. And Massa in the last spot in there. Crazy stuff now. Still one more double elimination round to go. And this is perhaps going to be the most brutal round of all. They all know it. You have to drive within half a second of your best pace. Pack already ate the gear in the start a bit to put him into red. And now into the loop. Do they keep 5th gear? Important more than ever. Flimsy seems like he's dropped it and therefore dropping some positions. Into orange. Nighttech in red, exactly at like the threshold like we talked about. Beamy as well. His teammate from the APAC regionals last year. Both of them doing phenomenally well here. Gwen in red after that. Massa's made a mistake. Huge fail. And also, I think that was Flimsy. Saw the American flag pass by. Cackney it was. Cackney and Massa both with mistakes in the last 2-player elimination round. Will they all survive the water? Stiffed with a shaky line. Oh, Flimsy! I mean, I can't even explain what that was. It was a wet tire situation, going upside down, flopping around, skipping the rocks, and getting eliminated. Double American KO here in the top 16. Unlucky for them. Massa twice now in orange, staying in. But the issue, guys, is that when you're having these stressful moments of like barely being in, your heart rate's a lot higher, your tension's a lot higher. So it's very common that if you make a mistake, you often see repeated mistakes just after. Like, it's hard to calm yourself again afterwards. And so it's not so surprising to me that Massa's again in the red. The question is if you can stabilize. If you're able to stabilize and get back to like your rhythm, then you're gonna be fine. But this is where it's very scary. Twice in a row in orange. If he survives this one again, he needs to find that first place rhythm, you know? Like, it's a very different playstyle we're seeing now. We're seeing a bit more scattered driving. Nighttech in red. He has been doing Serrar moves. He has been in orange so many times. This time he might get one more because J-Don misses the turn on the water, gets the no drift there. Wanted a slide, but it didn't happen. The car didn't initiate it. And Nighttech in orange is still in. Carl Jr. now showing up on the board, winning a round, 104.09. He's J-Done. Very funny. Just as funny as 1 week ago. Try it again next Saturday. I mean, we'll all type Keck W then as well. J-Done and Jade off. Hilarious. Also, guys, how sick is it that Tona's still in? Pack with a slow line after the water. This wasn't the transition. This was the loop itself. I think he clipped in the loop and lost speed. Essentially irrecoverable time deficit, though. Unless there's a mistake. Everyone within 0.1. I mean, what is this round? Look at this. This is crazy. They are one unit. Look at that. What does Pack do? And it's again Nighttech. Maybe he's just playing the format to perfection, but he's safing it perfectly. He knows the gap. And he's orange again. Pack out. Pack the bags. Yeah. 48th, 27th, and 9th, and now 15th for Pack. See, these are like good results, right? It's just we know Pack is capable of so much more. This is going to be interesting, by the way. Nighttech here typically needs to be a bit more ahead early on. His ending is good, but now that he's the only one with a mistake, I'm struggling to see him make the comeback. Carl Jr. though, a little shaky on the beach. Oh, and there's a miss. Neon gets wet tires, the car becomes uncontrollable, and he flies off. And guess what? I'm sensing the story is being built in front of our eyes here. You cannot eliminate this guy. Sorry, that's our main character today. You can't eliminate him. Neon, more like knee off. Unfortunately out in 14th, but He is such a prodigy, guys. The 09 is because he's born in 09. He is 16. If he could play Trackmania for another 10 years, and then he would be my age, you know? Like, this guy has such a bright future. It's really fun to see. Really, really fun to see. Carl Jr. in red after the start. And Beamy with a slow water bounce. He dropped the gear, I think. And so therefore, 0.4 behind. 09 wasn't 16 years ago? Wait, yep. No, it was. It was. Elcon, by the way. My brain took a moment to process that. Elcon in red, battling against Nitek. Can anyone defeat the gatekeeper of Div 1 today? I would think it would be Elcon, but it can also go disastrously wrong. Into the water turn we go. Nitek with a lot of speed, hovering on the side, has to release. He did touch the water. And Nitek has been defeated at last. Elcon claims the spot. The car tilted slightly too much there. And now it's wet tires. And can you guys tell? Like, the handling is just terrible. You see this? It's if the tire touches water. But yeah, top 10. Carl Jr. winning another round. A 1-0-0-1-4. 1-0-4-0-0. Massa, Bren, Gwen, Tona, Stifts, Elcon, Wissy, Binks, Wosal is our top 10. A lot of French players, like one maybe would expect. And some of the big cannons, some of the previous world champions in Carl Jr. and Gwen. Oh, mistake in the start. I didn't see who it was, though. Stifts hit the pillar. Also a really good player that you don't see too often. You do see him in solo competitions a lot. But yeah, definitely one of Netherlands' best players, vying for the same Nations Cup qualifier spot as Spam is. So Spam watching this is kind of hoping Stifts doesn't go too far, because then it will become very hard for Spam to beat him in the quali. And the gap is 0.3. No slide there. Really good. Still a 0.3 gap.
There's no way anyone is crashing up front right. What is Elcon doing? Why is Elcon driving such weird lines? No way. Bren! Bren! What the hell, Bren?
Bren out in 10th, scoring 92 points, I believe. Spam is breaking his setup. Spam is mad, yeah. You know, he's really hoping, of course. That's also fun to see your countrymen perform, if there wasn't so much else at stake. Anyway, we really don't want to see any disasters now. We want clean racing. We want the best player in pace to win, not to be decided by invisible polygons on the beach. Elcon, that looked really, really shaky. He crucially kept dry tires, so he does have a fighting chance in this round. But oy, could have gone much worse. Clean line there, tied with Wosile, down the hill, good no slide. Early left onto the beach. Wissy barely avoiding touching the water. And now it's still Wosile and Elcon fighting. Stifts, though, has gotten wet tires. There was someone with an awkward turn. And Stifts out. In 9th with 96 points. Could have gone much, much worse for Spam. Could have gone better for Stifts. Still a great performance. Top 8. This is when the points get incrementally crazy. 8th place gets 100 points. 7th gets 200. Here we go. Some of these players are on their best performances. I think Gwen is almost on his best performance. Tona is on his best performance. And then Elcon also on his best performance. Slow water bounces from Carl Jr. Low speed into that portion. Also not the best transition. But gets the nosedive over that hill. That's good. Still in a bit of trouble here, though, Carl. Good line there by the looks of it. High speed onto the plastic, and before the drift set up. Cannot miss the line. Someone crashed Gwen. Hitting the wall. He had a very good performance on China. But not likely to make it past this round here. Someone had to go out. Carl Jr. was in trouble. Now he could save the rest. And this will be our top 7. 0.5 though while he's safing. Yeah, GG to Gwen. AG does have one player left in Binks, who got second in the first one. And so he is a likely candidate to jump up into second in the rankings together with Wosal. Wosal could also extend his second place in the overall rankings today, if his performance remains. We are just going to have very close rounds from now on. I don't think we'll see more mistakes. Into the water. Massa doing these sideways balances. Maybe that has given him more speed in practice. If it gave him 100th, he desperately needed it there to fight back from last. Into the water entry. Carl Jr. again in red here. And out of the water too, but this time closer to the others. Into the drift. Wissy touched the grass a bit. He's now down in last. By a 10th of a second. Good line up the wall by the looks of it. Speed sliding down. And into the dirt, close line. This is where the steering wheel shines. He does get a good nose slide, and here as well. But losing time. Quite far behind the others already. Tona very wide there, though. Is Wissy's inside line any better? Not really. Last turn. And it's Wissy. It's Wissy out. What a round by the players. Look at this consistency. 0.1, 0.2. You cannot really be too upset if you go out when the others are driving 104.2. That is a hard mark to meet every single round. But incredible performance by the guys. And the biggest surprise of all is Tona. Elcon as well has driven 35 rounds in a row without really crashing. Also quite the miracle. If you're used to Trackmania, you know Elcon to be one of the fastest. But consistency has never been his strongest suit. He's consistent to win couple of days with 20 rounds. But 40 rounds has been a big question. Now look at him go though. Another good start for him. And it's Wosal in the red. Massa also in the tail of the field here again. Onto the beach drift. Last week's winner, Wosal. Struggling to keep up. He knows that he's made mistakes. He hears that noise on every checkpoint. Dink donk. Pick up the pace or you're out. How does he find 0.2 of a second against the world elite? Massa with a mistake there. Binks perhaps with an awkward entry to the beach. That is the case indeed. And they're closer. He has some targets to chase down. Binks though, matching him on the checkpoint. 100th apart. Last turn in between the rocks. Binks gets it better. Can Wosal make something happen in the very last turn? No. He tried. But 300ths is the difference. Wosal out in 6th and scores 300 more points, I believe. Very good performance. He'll take those any day. And that means, guys, we have a new winner. Someone will end up with 1,000 points that hasn't won before. And let's find out who that is in these next 4 rounds. Massa's best performance was a 5th place, I believe. Carl's best, a 4th place. Binks' best, a 2nd. And Elcon and Tona are already on their best. Now is the time to shine. Could it be Tona quitting his job at Nadeo and just becoming a pro player instead, winning an Elite Cup? Imagine the storyline. Into the wall ride. He is holding his own against signed players by big esport orgs. Him just driving on his own, but for how long will this fairy tale last? Into the water now. Binks in 1st, Elcon in 4th, Tona last there, Carl Jr. last now into the ending. Elcon trailing and Tona holds on. Beats Elcon for a 4th place guaranteed. Incredible stuff. Elcon out in 5th place for 400 points, I believe that is. Great for Elcon, but could have been more. Top 4. Carl Jr., Tona, Massa, and Binks. It really matters now, every small detail, the gears and everything. Tona, for example, losing a 10th here before the loop could be crucial. Massa clipped. Did that drop his gear? It dropped for both, but Massa had low speed from that clip. Tona overtakes. Awkward transition there, though. Massa's gonna equalize, but Binks and Carl already with a substantial lead over the two others, and so this is almost coming down to a 1 versus 1 already. Tona, inside drift there, fighting well against Massa for the situation. Good drift there too. Pre-drift down the hill. Binks and Carl are fusing into one and the same car up front. Who wins this battle for survival? That's what matters. Equal into the reactor gate. Massa inside line. Tona's gonna push with more speed here. Has to make that line worthwhile. It doesn't gain what he lost for going wide, and Massa could then settle the deal. He does. By 500ths, Massa settles that battle. Binks almost flew out into the finish. What a performance by Tona. 500 points there, I believe it was. 40th last week, 4th this time, and people are giving him respects. Incroyable. That was so horrible. Incroyable. Sorry about the American pronunciation. Top 3, here we go. Carl Jr., Massa, and Binks. People have been wondering, how does this format suit Carl Jr.? Because he is very good in time attack, but is he good in knockouts? I don't know why it's forcing this replay camera. Forgive me for that. Looks like it's fixed now. Or not. Into the water, they're all equal. On board with Binks. Into the drift. Pace is good. 104 low so far. Great line by Binks. Hitting the approach angle just right. Carl Jr. coming back with more speed. No slide down. Massa, a little awkward there. The others are going to get left earlier. But Massa keeps all the speed with that line. Great fight by him. It looks like it's either going to be Binks or Carl out. Last turn, Carl pushing away. Binks slowing down awkwardly. And Carl versus Massa is the final. Binks out with a 0.2. Carl and Massa driving at 0.1. 700 points up for grabs for second place. 1,000 for first place. Will it be Massa or Carl Jr.? I think the last time these two guys had a 1v1 must have been in 2015 or something like that. So now we'll see what a decade has done for their performance. Carl with the better start. Up into the loop. We saw Massa clip here. He adjusted now to avoid that mistake. Down the loop, better speed than Carl. Massa will be ahead. At the transition crash. The transition crash for Massa. The one we've been talking about. All cup long. Crashes into thin air. And Carl Jr. will not pass up an opportunity to score a free 1,000 points. Unfortunate that is a part of the map. But Carl Jr. now is just going to do what he does best. Which is to not make mistakes in crucial spots. He doesn't crash when it matters. He performs and clutches up. And drives a safe line to the finish. Carl Jr. wins his first Elite Cup, and with that, will jump very far up the rankings. Might even be second place overall now, passing Vosal. We'll see about that. GG. Massa also a really good second place there. With that, I think he's going to jump up into the top 8. Binks as well, going to secure his top 8 position.
Massa goes for a wider approach. He will get more speed through this looping. And then he has this crazy water bounce. Oh my god. And he bugs! No way in the round! Come on, Carl. You can see it. You can see it.
Will catch up now in the water bounces. Really good water bounces. Good speed. And he bugs. There's no way. There's no way he bugs. There's no way. The plot armor on this guy. I can't believe it.
Yeah, oh god, Massa. Okay, that was really good water. Yep. Okay, but to be fair, he was a bit too far right. But yeah. Plus map. Nice map link. I love it.
That's it. Here it is. This is not a block place by Link, the mapper on this one here. He did not place this block. This one automatically generated. if you take the entire map here and just move it one to the left, most positions, as I said, it's positional. Every position, every coordinate always has the same block. Look at how smooth this is. Look at how smooth this block is. If you just move the block by, or the map by one block, it becomes perfectly smooth, this transition.
These are the current Elite Cup standings. In the top 8, we indeed have Mura still in first with 2,064 points. We have Carl in second with 1,600. Massa with 1,600. Binks with 1,400 in fourth. Wosal now in 5th place. He was second before the step. And then quite a gap. Grenadi in 6th with 900. Brandon 7th with 800. And also Nico in 8th with 800 points. But yeah, see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.